Welcome back, Summoners, to another Wild Rift video. My name is Nathan Ng, and today I'll be talking about how you can reach that next level of play, be it jungler or laner. Make sure you stay till the end because this video will be valuable for everyone. Let's get started. Hitting or missing skill shots is one of the most influential factors in winning or losing fights. You don't have to practice for ages to get better at landing skill shots. Many times, it's enough to just take the enemy's option into consideration and aim towards the most likely one. One thing that most players won't account for is how auto-aim in Wild Rift works. Auto-aim will shoot out the skill towards where the target is, not where they will be. For example, whenever the enemy is running away from you, try to aim slightly in front of where he is, and now you'll hit them. So next time you're going to throw a hook, don't forget to think twice about auto-aim. Next up on the list is making sure that you use your surroundings. It's much harder to dodge abilities if you have less space to maneuver your character in. We've all been in that situation, a Blitzcrank running after us with no way to escape but juking. Now what happens if Blitzcrank forces you into disadvantageous terrain? He knows that he can use the tight spaces to its advantage and close the distance, whereas you have to try your best to put on your dancing shoes and try to avoid his deadly embrace. Embrace nonetheless, which sounds quite nice for Valentine's Day. Following the same train of thought, learning to hold an ability till you know you're gonna get hit. Hitting that fancy skill shot might result in your opponent's death, but don't you think they know the same? They will try their hardest to make sure that they are not touched by it by, yet again, putting on their best dancing shoes. So believe me, you're gonna look insane. Instead of shooting and missing, you just get closer and closer, and the enemy team just keeps over-juking themselves, looking like an idiot until they eventually die. This also applies to other abilities such as gap closers. Imagine playing Jarvan and walking onto a lane from behind, holding your gap closer combo. This enables you to react to the enemy's flash and secure the kill, guaranteed. Keep in mind, once we waste a cooldown, we might lose all the pressure. Keeping them allows us to demand respect from our opponents that, if not given, will lead to their crushing defeat, making us look like a true pro. By the way, do us a favor and answer our question of the day. What champion do you want to see next on Wild Rift? For me, it's actually Cassiopeia. You need to have good aim, quick thinking, and crisp decision making to play this champion, especially with the mobile controls. Sounds challenging and quite fun. Deception and distraction plays a huge part in Wild Rift. Covering up our moves to make them not too obvious to see through is game-changing. If you are inside of a fight, you're definitely thinking about your next move, and so is the enemy. Abilities are flying around and HP bars are dropping, but what is next? Usually the way that we're facing and moving suggests what we want to do. If a Darius is ghosting at your support, I think that we can pretty much assume that he's attempting to kill them. Sometimes we need to deceive the enemy. Let them guess what to expect from us, perhaps even baiting them into a fight that seems good for them, but in reality is not. Make the enemy worry, confuse them, repeat similar moves, but change the goal. Don't be too predictable. Once I've seen an Ezreal absolutely playing out of his mind, arcane shifting into a position in Fog of War nobody thought of, and he killed all of us. Absolutely crazy. Have you ever been trying to make something happen and your teammates were just caught snoozing on the job? With this little but powerful tool, we avoid such issues. Proper communication boosts our team play immensely. When you are presented with the opportunity to engage, ping your teammates to follow up on your play. You see that the Braum has his ultimate ability available and you're looking for an engage. Let him know what to do. Give him the heads up and prepare himself so you can go ahead and fully utilize your champions. Or did you perhaps catch a glimpse of an enemy champion roaming the river? Danger inbound. Time to raise the awareness. You might save your teammates and therefore yourself some serious trouble. If you want to feel like the leader of your team, make sure that these pings will lead them to victory. Before we jump on to the next topic, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you like this video and join our Wild Rift Discord in the description down below for everything Wild Rift. Bear with me, because I'm going to show you guys how you can avoid dying to the enemy jungler. Thanks to the courtesy of Riot Games, we got some free trinkets to spot what we usually don't see. They are free, but offer game-changing value to us and our team. Now, I know what you're thinking. Where should I put down these trinkets? Well, where can the enemy jungle come from? Junglers often walk down and up the river to pull off ganks. So what if I told you that you can just set up a ward and cover those entry points? What does he do now? Right, waste time. Always ask yourself, which way would I go? Vision provides not only defensive but offensive properties. Spotting an enemy on a deep ward in their jungle opens us a world of options to push our lead. Don't forget, each member can put up to 2 wards that reveal a specific area to secure that area. So, work together. If you've been playing Wild Rift for some time, you probably had some unfortunate events that might have led to you having very low amounts of gold. When playing Wild Rift, it's very important for us to familiarize ourselves with the 2 currencies that we need to carry the game: gold and experience. The most fundamental things that we need to look out for. Gold, very simple, more items, more damage, more wins. On the other hand, experience gives us base stats on top of giving us access to stronger abilities. To increase the gain in gold and experience, we have to stay aware of what's happening on the map. In addition to that, we have to determine where we can farm safely. It is often overlooked how much gold you can get and generate just by farming minions. On that note, do not clump together as a team unless you have to. Rather, spread out and maximize your income and resources. Speaking of maximizing your income, whenever there is something happening on the Rift, we need to react in some way. If we cannot participate in action, we're still able to react by gaining gold and experience on the side lane. If that doesn't work, we can opt into taking jungle caps. This approach is called consistency over coin flip. Our goals are to sync up farming and strategic recalls before upcoming major objectives while avoiding random fights that serve no purpose. This allows us to manage our time efficiently and dominate the Rift. And how can you beat that? Now, I must let you in on a secret. For us to dominate the Rift, we do not only need the gold, but we also need to spend it properly. Making sure that we have the best and most adequate items for our game is key to our success. It happens to all of us. We looked into the shop and simply don't know what to buy. What is the best default build there is what the items usually do. It might appear daunting, but don't worry, we've got you covered. Make sure to watch our upcoming Best Item Synergy video to learn how Challenger Wild Rift players itemize their characters. Winning lane consistently is more than possible. With these few tips, you can easily increase your laning skills by a lot. Looking at a lane should make us think about what the enemy wants to achieve. What can they do and how can they accomplish that? For example, what is scary about a Braum? Ever had a concussive blows being applied to you, being hit by his Winter's Bite, and then being ulted by him? Sounds like dying to me. But how much of this, and especially how can he do that in lane? All characters follow specific laws in the game. A melee character cannot just magically change location if they have no ability that allows them to do so. To be one step ahead of the competition, we need to understand what the opposing side can do to us and use it against them. Another underrated mechanic is experience management. If you hit level 2 before your enemy, you open up a window where you can make use of that level lead and another ability. Not only do you gain access to that advantage, you also gain more base stats to boost your strength. This lead allows you to absolutely brutalize your enemy on lane and accelerate ahead. Every level that you have over your opponent grants you game-changing advantages that helps you snowball even further. One of the most crucial situations is the brief period before hitting level 5. As you level up to 5, you gain access to your ultimate ability. The enemy team doesn't know how much experience points they actually hold unless they're paying attention to that XP bar. On the condition that you're close to level 5 and the next minion that dies is going to grant you level 5, you can initiate a fight that seems unfavorable while you're still level 4, but midway, you level up and destroy your enemy with the ultimate ability. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Before we go any further, I just want to get something straight. Believe in your own ability to make a play. Think about it and try it. Do not hesitate. And if you feed, well, just call it limit testing. Once you give into doubt, you'll start second guessing yourself and doubting your own ability, leading to hesitation. Let me ask you something. What's the difference between hesitation and waiting? You are waiting for something in order to do, rather than just walking back and forth, not knowing what's going on. Picture yourself waiting in a brush, looking at your teammate being attacked by an enemy Ezreal. You know that you cannot kill him unless he uses his arcane shift. Consequently, you're waiting for the opportunity to strike. You dictate the outcome as long as you know what you're waiting for. Can you imagine how fantastic that feels? Take a moment and let that sink in, and take a breath and let that play go through. The next neat trick that we'll be talking about will be utilizing and processing available resources for us and the enemy. The honey fruit is a fruit that heals us. Upon being hit, the plant bursts apart and spawns 3 little fruits that can be collected by walking all over them. You can amplify that healing by taking the inspiration type rune called Sweet Tooth. Sweet Tooth increases healing from the honey fruit by 25% and grants 20 gold per fruit collected. The lane fruit spawns at 45 seconds and the river fruit at 3 minutes. Honey fruit respawns 2 minutes after being popped. Honestly, we all love fruit, especially if it's giving us free real estate. Last but not least comes the importance of objectives. Not only do they grant insane buffs, but they also reward you with a lot of gold upon being slain. Epic monsters are terrifying foes, and fights around these places tend to be messy, but they are often worth more than their trouble. Remember the last time that you've grouped down mid and the enemy team just instantly killed the entire wave? Slaying Baron doesn't only give your team 200 gold per member, but allows you to bolster your minions, making them more durable in a siege. Dragons, on the other hand, grant you permanent buffs, which give you nearly an unfair advantage over your enemy. Whereas Herald, aka Shelly, charges down a lane of choice and makes sure that these turrets turn to dust. Dragons start spawning at 4 minutes, and they respawn every 4 minutes upon being killed. After 4 elemental dragons have been slain, an elder dragon will spawn next. Slaying it will grant you a true damage burn buff and a 50% stronger dragon buff. After seeing how overpowered these objectives are, we are more likely to group around the importance of these objectives. That's it for today's tips that will make you better at positioning. Being mindful of these tips will allow you to have a way easier time of figuring out what to do in most of the situations when playing Wild Rift. Thanks for tuning in, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to answer our question of the day in the comments. If you're looking for players to play WR with, join our Wild Rift Discord. We have a loving and welcoming community that embraces new members. And as usual, my name is Nathan Ng, and I'll be signing out. Stay safe, stay healthy, and have a wonderful day. Peace.